You are listening to the Healthy Project Podcast with your host, Corey Dion Lewis. For more, go to healthyprojectpodcast.com. Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Project Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Dion Lewis. I have a different type of conversation today, something that I've been noticing for a while now. I've had a few guests making this transition to drinking non-alcoholic beverages, and it was one of those things where I didn't know it was as common or it was trending up as it was, but there are a lot of people that making the shift, and I have the one and only that they know all about this industry, all about mindful drinking, which we'll talk a lot about. I have Jessa with us today. Jessa, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so grateful to be here.
Yeah. So, before we get into the topic, can you tell the people a little bit about yourself and what gets you up in the morning?
Absolutely. I have been in this space for a few years. I'm actually a founding member of the non-alcoholic bottle shop Sachet in South Carolina. And I kind of was the director of everything there. And because of that, I got to know the ins and outs of every different part of this industry, from getting to know the founders of these brands and their products, to tasting and trying hundreds of different things. I have done tons of events, mindful mixology classes. I've started working in the sober community, helping people that struggle with alcoholism. There's so many different aspects of this, because not only is it something that is health and wellness, but it's also hospitality and food and beverage. So there's a lot to know, there's a lot to learn, and it's kind of strange that I ended up as an expert in this space because it wasn't something that I actually sought out. I am a mindfulness coach. I do love mindfulness in general. And so when mindful drinking came about, I was like, well, this is perfect.
Right. Can we talk a little bit about mindful drinking? What does that mean? What is that?
So mindful drinking is something that is a little bit different for everybody. One of the first terms that came up in this space was actually sober curious. So what that means is somebody that is like, what would my life be like if I was sober? Or what if I just was sober sometimes? And how would that affect me? And it shifted into this mindful drinking, which is owning your relationship with alcohol and saying, okay, well, there's all of these products out there. Some of them I sent you, where I could have a margarita, I could have a gin and tonic, I could have traditional drinks without alcohol and still be able to be part of the party, socialize, celebrate with the same things without the effects.
Yeah, and for me, I understand the application for someone that may be an alcoholic, or just they're seeing a pattern of I'm having 10 drinks a night and not even realizing it. It's just kind of a part of my lifestyle and wanting to take a step back. But now we're seeing more people, they may not even have a habit or be classified as an alcoholic, but they're going this route, of just drinking, non-alcoholic beverages. And I will say for myself, as I was testing these out, and I'm really trying to be kind of in the moment, like how would I use a non-alcoholic beverage? Because I'm going to be straight up and down. I like a drink. I'm saying to my audience, I'm not saying I have a drink every day, but I do enjoy alcoholic beverage. But I do understand though that there are those days where, I may want one, but do I need one? And do I want to, how do I be mindful about how I utilize my alcohol consumption? And as I'm drinking all these different ones you sent me, that really cool bottles, and they look they were really, really cool. They were small, but they were cool. Uh,
Yeah, little sample bottles are
yeah.
cute.
Yeah, and it's like, man, and I told you before we started recording, it was so weird because it felt like I was having a drink, but I wasn't. Like I was the feeling I was expecting wasn't there. And then for me it kind of clicked like, wow, I can see how somebody who wants to be more mindful, but not feel like they're being antisocial,
Yeah.
have this, and still be present with their friends and still enjoy, because there are those times where you feel like you need something in your hand,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah,
you can still enjoy your time in a responsible way.
absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, I am that person. Um, there are a lot of people in this space and most of them are fully sober. However, I am not. I am the mindful drinker. I'm like you. I love a drink. I like to have one every once in a while. Um, but I have also, learned to know that it really is not good for me. It really is. Even that one or two drinks is negatively affecting me.
Hmm.
And I cannot just deny that. Once you learn something,
Right.
you can't unlearn it. Um, and it's why, we start picking up, different foods and like looking at the ingredients. Oh, okay, I don't want red 40 anymore in my diet, or you know what I mean? Those kinds of,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's okay to have, a pack of Skittles every once in a while, but I'm still not going to ingest this all the time. And it's the same sort of concept with this, like knowing that this is not good for us. I'm still going to partake in it every once in a while, but I don't have to because there are products out there that replicate it, and I'm
Right.
still having that drink in my hand. I'm still a part of the party. And then, we could dive into the whole functional side of things, in the third way alternative, which is there are now a whole lot of products that are the opposite of alcohol and actually good for you. Or there's even, all of the hemp infused products that
Right.
will give you something. So there's all kinds of ways to go at this. You can go, full on, just get a sparkling tea, or you could have your NA gin and tonic, or you could have that third way alternative and have something that has a little bit of an effect.
Right. I want to touch on all of those, but I want to start with this one. 'Cause you brought up something that got me thinking. For how does is there a fear that somebody of who maybe, identify as an alcoholic and they're trying to change their life, is there a fear of relapse from drinking something like this that may taste so similar? Is that something um that people think about, or what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is where even more mindfulness comes into play. It's all about self awareness and knowing
Mhm.
what works for you and what doesn't. And I've worked with people on both sides. I have
Mhm.
really good friends that had a serious breakup with Chardonnay. Like they were addicted, they had to have it, but now they drink non-alcoholic or alcohol removed Chardonnay, and that's it's still their drink, and they're
Right.
fine with it. But then there's other people who are triggered. They are, something that smells or tastes like tequila is it could either make them want to throw up or it's going to
Right.
make them like want more and want the real thing and start craving the effect and start craving something stronger. Um,
Right.
so really it is. And I have a really good friend who is the founder of one of these companies that you tried, All the Bitter. um
Mm.
they they were, having, they knew that they had a problem and they knew that they had to cut back, and they were full on in the business, and so they had to get rid of so much stuff, and it took them a while to step into the space. They had to kind of slowly, as they went, kind of
Uh-huh.
reprogram the way that they thought, the way that they felt about those drinks. And it just slowly and slowly became easier and easier. But, it's all an individual basis.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. You also talked about, how someone may want to, reduce their red meat or look at different ingredients in different foods.
Mhm.
I know from our earlier conversations that there may be some healthier alternatives or, non-alcoholic drinks, but there are still some things to look for within those NA drinks. Can you talk a little bit more about that and what someone should be looking for within these NA drinks?
Yeah, absolutely. This is my favorite topic when it comes to NA, honestly, because for me, as like I said, a mindful drinker, somebody who does, it doesn't bother me to have a traditional old fashioned or um, I'm a huge New Orleans drink fan. I love Sazeracs and Beaucrets and stuff like that. So I love those stout drinks. And because of that, when I was switching over and wanting these alcohol-free products, I wanted something that was gonna be stout, be sturdy, give you something like substantial in the way of flavor. And I started finding brands that had all of those aspects, but beyond that, the reason that they had all of that amazing flavor is because they were plant derived. And those plants, as you know, I mean, plants have magic. They have ingredients that can really benefit our bodies, our minds. There's all of these nootropics and adaptogens and different ingredients that will boost our mood, actually help our hormone levels. I mean, I right now, like for example, I have Thesis. It's a brand of nootropics, and it's basically vitamins that will help me feel like I have more energy or more confidence and things like that. Well, now they're putting that stuff in these drinks. And I know I sent you this brand, Ross's Spot.
Yeah.
So this is a brand that is 100% plant derived. It has zero sugar. It doesn't have any of that processed preservatives, any of that kind of stuff in it. But it also has things like reishi mushroom and shashandra berry and these incredible ingredients that do the opposite of what we were getting from alcohol. So instead of feeling guilty, we were like, I am doing something good for myself. And because
Yeah.
of that, it has that amazing, robust, flavorful taste that we actually like, when pairing our meals or whatever it is that we're doing when we're drinking.
Right. And that one you just pointed out when you were talking about, like, for me, it's like, man, I feel like some of these drinks you're talking about that have these nootropics and all these great health benefits. It's like, man, I don't want to wait until a nightcap. I want this to be something before a workout, or
And you
something in the
can.
morning.
Yes, yes. Yes, like this brand, for example, has black ginger and it goes really, really well in coffee. I drink it in the morning with my coffee. I can have
The
an
one you sent
espresso.
me.
Yeah, I can have an espresso martini for breakfast.
Oh,
And And
Oh, cool. I'm
yeah,
gonna try that in the morning. I'm gonna try it in my coffee in the morning, and I will report back because I mean that's when we were talking about it, it's like man, there's all these um super mushrooms, all these things now are in different forms, but man, to have that in a drink and to feel like you can still enjoy yourself and feel good and have all these different health benefits. But I don't, like I said, I want to wait. I want to be able to start my day like that. That would be something cool. So I'm gonna try that tomorrow and see how that goes for sure. Um,
yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a great way to start your day, and then you can actually go forward and another one of their flavors goes really well with like grapefruit and citrus and stuff like that. Makes a great midday spritz. Little pick you up in the middle of the day, and then there's one that is like really robust, like red wine grape skins and artichoke and all of these really robust flavors that makes like a really good nightcap. So you can go all day long, and that's what's really cool is
yeah,
being able to have like these are so versatile. So versatile.
that's cool. So that guy or that girl that's out there that's saying or woman that's out there and they're like, you know what, I want to change my lifestyle. I want to do a challenge where I don't drink or whatever the case may be. If you're coaching someone, 'cause you said you're a coach yourself,
Mm-hmm.
um how would you is there a certain way someone should start as they're transitioning to um this type of lifestyle where they're looking at more of what they're drinking?
Yes, absolutely. It all starts with self awareness. And the way that I approach everything is through sitting down with a journal. You need to kind of ask yourself some key important questions. What are your intentions? What are you really after? What are your fears? Like be real, be honest, be very truthful with yourself. Like a lot of us, we identify with certain products. For most people, that whether it's drinking alcohol or drinking Coke, they have like their thing, or like, oh, I'm a Coke person, or I'm a
Mm,
Diet Coke person, or I'm a Crown and Sprite person, or I'm a Jack
right,
and Coke person. Everybody has their thing. So
right.
you have to ask yourself, what are you identifying with? Who are you? you know, you have to get down to these nitty gritty, really kind of deep personal questions, and that's where you start because and it doesn't have to be. I'm not saying it has to be full on like that. You don't have to get so deep, but it could be as simple as like if you're just like me, you don't have a problem with alcohol, you just want to try this different stuff. What do you love to drink? What do you normally like? Are you normally a Chardonnay person or a Pinot Noir person? Well, there are alcohol free versions of that.
Mm,
Anything that you normally like to drink, type it in and put in non-alcoholic. And I bet you reach out.
yeah,
You can reach out to me, and I will point you in the right direction, or you can do your own research. And there, there are all the different kinds of beers. There's sours, there's stouts, there's everything. Not just like um, whatever Pilsner. And then when it
right.
comes to wine, there's alcohol removed. So you get the exact same taste and flavor of the traditional wine with the alcohol having been removed. Or there's alternatives that are like verjus or apple cider vinegar based products that replicate a wine, replicate kind of the feel of the wine without the
Mhm.
actual alcohol. And then there's the same thing with the spirits. There are one for one replacements that taste exactly like the traditional, or they're botanical alternatives that are meant to be their own thing. They're not trying to replace anything. There, for example, one of my brands is called Everleaf. It has there's a marine, a forest. There, like they're just earthy and herbal
Right.
and kind of fresh flavors. Something elevated and more sophisticated without it being like, oh my gosh, this is going to trigger me and make me think that I'm having a bourbon or whatever.
Right. So really, I mean, there's something for everyone.
Right.
Right. And there's really, and I did some research. Actually, I have a really random question. So when and maybe, I mean, I'm sure you can answer. When I was Googling all this, right, I was doing my Googles, kombucha came up a lot.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, what's the, like,
Why? Yeah. So there's spiked kombucha now. Yes. So you can get alcoholic kombucha. So of course you can get, yeah, there's, because, and that would be, that is in the functional category. That is in the category of, I want something to drink that is adult-ish and, will benefit me, so yay, gut health.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm no shade. I know a bunch of kombucha drinkers. It's just not my vibe, But I was like, I'm like, why is almost every article talking about kombucha or kombucha's in the top, best 10, NA drinks? I'm like, that was just really, it threw me off a little bit. But again, Jessa, thank you so much for being here and giving us so much information around this lifestyle as far as mindful drinking. For anybody listening that wants to learn more about mindful drinking and different NA products, or learn more about you, where can they find you?
Well, I am on social. My Instagram is untoxicated.world. So I am untoxicating the world one kind of person bar at a time. Or Jessa Frances, JessaFrances. You can also find me on untoxicated.world, the website, which or LinkedIn, of course. Jessica Della Rosa is actually my full name. But yeah, no, anytime if anybody out there is looking for any assistance, whether it is getting started on this journey or finding the right product for them, or if they feel like they've been really let down, they've tried different things and because there are bad products out there. There are. And
Okay.
there are things that are letting.
So what should they look for? I'm glad you said that, because I forgot all about that. So what does a bad product look like?
Well, pretty much when I say bad product, I should say products that are letting people down. I work with bartenders a lot, and they are just constantly underwhelmed because there are a lot of, gin alternatives that just, they're watery and they don't really show up. And so they're spending money on something that isn't providing,
right.
And then when it comes to alcohol removed wine, for example, there has been a lot of disappointment in this area, but the advancements in the techniques that they are using to extract the alcohol, they're making headway. They're really, really changing things up. Things are getting a lot better. And so if you have tried a red wine and you were just like, oh, that was awful, or that was grape juice, or if you were a wine person in particular, because that is definitely the biggest category where people have a hard time. Yeah, reach out. I definitely have some tips and tricks, and of course, some products that I recommend. So yeah, don't feel discouraged by trying a few things and being disappointed. I promise you there are amazing products out there that you will be impressed with.
Yes, and I did a video testing all the products, so I'll be putting that on YouTube as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so um, giving my first reactions to these, you know what I mean. So hopefully people can check that out when that comes out. But I will also link all of these, all of the social media tags and everything in the description of this podcast, in the description of the podcast and on YouTube, so people can make it so it could be easier for them to reach you. Um, Again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciated your time. And everyone, thank you for listening to the Healthy Project podcast. I'll let you next time.